The novelty of it is long gone. It was not happy, and frankly neither was I. Lost my train of thought, distracted by the magpie with the moon and the moon. Come on, the drama overflowing with little money plants. It is what it is, and in this case it's gorgeous. Hello everybody, it's Sylvie. Welcome or welcome back to Tarot Magpie. I hope you're doing all kinds of good today. Today's video is another installment in my responses to Candy's Collections Meet Decks tag. Today we are looking at my houseplants. I've gathered quite the little collection of houseplants over time, and especially since moving into this flat, they are largely quite new additions to my little indoor garden, I guess. Not really, but anyway, we're talking houseplants today. I'm going to match them to decks. You know the drill. Go check out Candy's original video. I also did a response a couple of weeks ago which featured my books that I use for collage. I buy secondhand books from charity shops and I chop them up for collage purposes. But today we're doing houseplants, so I am going to get straight into it. I'm going to take you on a tour of my houseplants, beginning with the plant I have had for the longest, which is my Jade. As you can see, she's recently undergone a bit of a brutal pruning, but she is really bouncing back. I'm so pleased. There are so many new growth points. She's looking so good. It also means that I have like propagations that I'm growing. So I have 9 new baby jade plants that hopefully I will usher into adult planthood, and then I will be overrun with jade plants, but that's fine. I'll give them away to friends. Anyhow, my jade is my oldest houseplant, and so the deck I have chosen for my jade is the Wild Unknown Tarot, because this is an oldie but a goodie. This is less specifically an oldie in my collection, but in terms of tarot decks, this has been out for quite some time. I think it was published like a decade ago, maybe. So this is a bit of a mainstay in a lot of people's tarot collections. I only got myself a copy last year. For a long time I was like, oh, I don't want it, it's too simplistic, it's not got enough symbolism, and then I did a complete 180, and I really like this deck. I maybe don't give it all that much attention in the grand scheme of things, much like my poor jade plant, who she wasn't getting enough light, I think was the issue. I've lived in a lot of dark and damp flats, which has killed a lot of houseplants, but she's in a gorgeous sunny spot now and is absolutely thriving. And when I do give this deck some attention, I always really get along with it. I find it really intuitive, not so much intuitive, but I just really enjoy working with it. I really like looking at the colours in this deck, especially in Kim Kranz's artwork, and how the colours can kind of flow from card to card. You can like read it like that, which I think is just a really interesting way to read. So that's the Wild Unknown, and I have the pocket edition. The second oldest plant in my collection is my snake plant, which truly will put up with anything. Snake plants are like that. They thrive when you kind of forget they exist or possibly try to kill them. I've had mine a good few years. She is really nice and tall, and I've just moved her to a spot with a little bit more light. I'm hoping that she might be a little bit happier with slightly more indirect sunlight where she is now. So as a deck to match up with my snake plant, I have gone for the Golden Tarot, because my snake is a plant that will put up with anything, and this deck is a bit of a mainstay in my collection. And this is the Golden Tarot. My copy has been trimmed and edged. This was the first deck trim I ever did. It's not the best. I definitely used the wrong size corner rounder on some of the cards. You can see where it looks a bit like uneven. It's because I did it wrong. But it's a good deck. It's not going anywhere, and it's really gorgeous. Much like the snake plant, it's a bit easy to ignore, and I feel like this is easy to ignore, partly because I've had it so long. The novelty of it is long gone because it's been in my collection for years. And it's a Rider-Waite Smith clone, so it's not that new and exciting in terms of the system and the symbolism it uses. Like here, our two of coins, we've got all the same symbols that you'd expect to see in a Rider-Waite-Smith. So it's not flashy and exciting, but it works. It always works. If I'm really stuck, I can reach for this and I know that I can read it. I might not use it for a long time, and I don't use this very often, I'm going to be honest. It's not going anywhere, and it's not holding a grudge, I feel. Not to personify my deck too much, but I do find sometimes if I'm reading with a deck that I haven't read with for a long time, it's like it won't talk to me. And what it really is, of course, is I'm just unused to using it. But not this one. This always works. I think from here on out, every single one of these plants I've acquired since I moved into this flat like 3-4 months ago. So when I say I've lived in cold, damp flats, they've killed everything that I've had except for my jade and my snake, which are resilient. But the next plant is my Oxalis Triangularis. She is so pretty, don't you think? She's purple, she's got gorgeous little flowers, and the triangular leaves looks like butterflies. She's so pretty, I just could not resist. And the deck I have chosen to pair with my Oxalis is the Occult Ornithology, because this too was so pretty and I could not resist. This is a mages only deck. One of the things I love about this deck is we've got a strength in position 8 and a strength in position 11, and the same for the justice. And I think what I've gone with is this justice and this strength. This is beautiful. It's a bird deck. It's got this lovely gold foiling. And I bought this. I was at an event. Where was this? Was Comic-Con. I got this from Comic-Con last year. The artist K.S. Whittle had a stall full of her beautiful artwork, her beautiful prints. I think I got like the kit with the reading cloth and the guidebook, and I think it came with like a bookmark, and I got another bookmark as well because I think her artwork's absolutely beautiful. And like this is such a non-functional purchase because I don't read with mages only decks. This is my only mages only deck. I don't read with it very often, and of course I could use any deck as a mages only deck and just pull the other cards out. So this was just pretty and I couldn't resist. And then here we've got a Magpie as the devil, which I quite like. And yeah, I love the vulture as the emperor. I think I like what the guidebook has to say about it, but I also like how, like, on the one hand, vultures they have a bit of an unfortunate reputation, as does the emperor card when you think about the connotations of empire and colonialism. But the vulture has a very important role in the ecosystem, and I think there are a lot of valuable lessons, not lessons, but there's a lot of valuable insight to be gleaned from the emperor card. So it's just really beautiful, and since it's such a small deck, I will show you all the cards. Flamingo, the Temperance. The next plant lives right next to my Oxalis. This is the money plant. I think there are a few plants called a money plant, but this is a Pilia something. I'm not sure. I think this one's also called a Chinese money plant. This one also absolutely thriving. I've got a little citrine tumble in here because that felt appropriate with my money plant. And the deck I'm matching with this is the Shadowscapes Tarot. I feel like I definitely could have lent into the abundance kind of energy of the money plant, but I didn't. Instead, I lent into the it's a plant I've wanted forever, and this is a deck I've wanted forever, and then finally bought a copy of earlier this year. I haven't used this a whole ton. Oh, but can we just take a moment for how sweet this Six of Cups is? I'm feeling like it's a kind of dreamy autumn, and I really want to use this as my daily pull in Libra season. So I've kind of been saving it for that almost, which is why I haven't really been going for it, but it's absolutely beautiful. I did do an unboxing first impressions walkthrough video when I got this because it was a deck I wanted for so long. I wanted to just give it a little bit of a spotlight. I know this deck is super popular for good reason, in my opinion. It's so stunning. And I know the artist has also created a oracle deck. I forget who published it, but it's like a tree wisdom, I think, oracle deck, which I want purely for the artwork. I need to look into it a little bit more and decide if I think I would actually find the deck itself valuable, but the collector in me definitely wants to get it just for the artwork, and I could pair the two decks and they would look absolutely beautiful together. All right, next up is my Philodendron Birkin, who was a complete impulse buy from Lidl of all places. I spent £6. £6 on this absolutely stunning philodendron. She's just gorgeous. She's absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, the second I saw her, I was like, yes, you're coming home with me. So the deck I'm matching up with my Philo Birkin is the Guardian of the Night Tarot, because this was also a bit of an impulse buy. When I say a bit, I mean a complete impulse buy. I got this from Black Moon Botanica in Edinburgh, actually, which at the time before I started living here, I was visiting a friend and we went into Black Moon Botanica and I was like, this shop is incredible. I'm leaving with a deck. It was that thing where I decided I wanted to buy a deck and so I picked one, which is not something I do often, but I think we've all done that with things. We decide we want to buy a new book, or we decide we want to buy a new deck or a new, I don't know, pair of shoes or whatever, and then you go out and you find something to like scratch that itch, which not the most responsible purchasing decision, but in this instance, I have no regrets because I absolutely adore this deck. This really started a love affair for me with animal decks, with MJ Cullinane's decks. I now have a handful. Oh, there's a Magpie and the King of Pentacles. Love to see it. Lost my train of thought, distracted by the Magpie, which feels very appropriate. But yeah, absolutely no regrets. This is a beautiful deck. It also introduced me to the kind of gentler, kinder style of tarot decks, which I previously had written off anything as being soft and fluffy. And then I got this deck purely based on the artwork because I flipped through a copy they had in the shop. And then once I actually started working with it and reading the guidebook at first, I was like, oh no, it's a bit nice, but it's one that I realized goes really deep without being kind of dark or harsh. So I just adore this deck. It lives next to my bedside, or it lives at my bedside next to my bed, and it's just perfect for when I want to like pull a card, or my partner wants me to pull a card, and it's not intense, it's not scary, but it is the full spectrum of tarot cards. And we've got more magpies with the Four of Wands, so I will leave that there. Next up, this is my Tradescantia. I think when she gets a little bit bigger, she will be a kind of trailing plant, which was the case with, I've had one of these before. It died a sad death because I lived in a cold, damp flat. It was not happy. And frankly, neither was I, so I don't blame it. This is like a second chance with this plant because I've had one before, I killed it. This is absolutely beautiful, and I am hoping that this will be the time and I can keep this one going. So the deck I'm pairing with that is the Woven Path Tarot, which is a deck that I think is beautiful. I got it about a year ago now. I have barely touched it. I don't really know why. Oh, it's gorgeous. I want to make an effort to work with it. This and the Shadowscapes, I think, are both quite autumny decks. For me, they feel autumny and they don't necessarily look super cozy and autumny or like spooky or anything like that. I think that's going to be its time. Well, I've decided that's going to be its time. I'll pull it out, I'll work with it, and we'll either get on or we won't. But this is so beautiful, and this is a deck that I was waiting for because this was a Kickstarter I backed, and then I think it was delayed. It was either delayed by a few months, which it was actually, now I remember, it was delayed by quite a few months. So I was like waiting and waiting. Okay, then it finally turned up, and then I've just kind of ignored it. Which is not great. I don't feel great about that. But, you know, I can't hold on to things apparently. It is what it is. And in this case, it's gorgeous. There's not much more to say because I haven't really worked with it, but it's totally beautiful. What is wrong with me? I can't hold on to cards. This does also come with a set of 12 Zodiac cards, which I am at least using those. Those are altar cards for me at the moment. So it is getting some use. And I want to work with the deck itself because it's so pretty. So that is the Woven Path. Next up, we've got my Calathea. She is a drama queen. All Calatheas are extremely dramatic plants, but she's doing okay. She's going strong. I have every hope. This was also a little purchase. Can you believe £12 for this absolutely beautiful plant? And it's huge. I was so impressed. I forget exactly which variety this one is, but she's gorgeous. And the deck I am pairing with my Calathea is the Tarot of Vampires. This deck is just dramatic, you know? All of the artwork. Come on, the drama. It had to be. Like, it's kind of camp in how dramatic it is. Like, it reminds me of the book Dracula, because the book Dracula is like, yeah, sure, it's dark and spooky, but because of the time it was written and the style it's written, it also is just so over dramatic and melodramatic rather. And I love it. I love it for that. And I love this deck for the same reason. It is doing what it's doing at like 110%. And I think that's wonderful. My final little plant, I think it's another variety of snake plant. It's just this chunky little snake and it's so cute. And I got this and my partner got a little aloe vera, and so they're pals. They sit next to each other on a shelf. With that, I thought I would pick a pair of decks. This is my most recent favorite deck pair to go with my most recent plant acquisition. This is the Moonology Messages Oracle and the Tarot of a Moon Garden, and I have the most recent edition that came out early this year, I think. I was also chatting about this deck pair in my September deck list, my September deck TBR. I've been really enjoying it. I've used this actually already a fair bit. This video is going up on the 1st of September, but I have been using it. And I first of all, thematically, like, yes, thematically, absolutely stellar pairing with the moon and the moon. And I just really like how they read together. They are both, again, like a little bit kind of similar to the Guardian of the Night, especially with this oracle. This oracle in particular is quite a good vibes deck. And then the Tarot of a Moon Garden, I think for me, I found it leans toward the kind of gentler, whimsical end of the spectrum. And together they are it's a really supportive pairing. And I've really been enjoying it. I've read for myself with this pairing. I read for my partner with this pairing quite a lot. Specifically, I've read for them with the Moonology Messages a lot. And then I've also done some reading for tarot as well. I recently used this pairing for like a new moon reading ahead of the new moon in Virgo coming up in a couple days. And I just really enjoy them together. I think they look beautiful. I think they read beautifully. Here we go. Here's our new moon card for the new moon. I just think they're lovely. And I think they really suit each other. So this is my deck pairing to go with my little baby snake plant and my partner's little baby aloe vera plant. And I didn't even think about the fact that this is pairing that I've also used for my partner a lot. It's just truly my most recent favorite deck pairing and the deck pairing I've been using a lot recently. So that is the Moonology Messages and the Tarot of a Moon Garden. That is it. That is all my houseplants. That is all my deck pairings to go with those houseplants for the Collections Meet decks. Put the tag by Candy over at Candy Soul and Soil. This was a really fun one. I hope you enjoyed the little tour of my houseplants and the decks I paired with them. Once again, go check out Candy's video if you haven't already. Check out my previous response to this tag. I'll link everything below. But that's it from me. Thank you so much for joining. I really hope you have enjoyed this video. Give me a like if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.